On today's episode of Nonsense, we talk gaming. Again, who knew? Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, F and Bob. This is Nonsense. How you doing, man? Yeah, I know I'm burning through podcast episodes like crazy again, huh? they're not they're not on time, but they're here. So be happy. Shit's being done. And again, it's after a long week break, but it was pretty much just due to personal issues, man. I have a life, as you guys know. Shit happens, and I try and keep consistent with the podcast, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. So again, apologies for the previous week where I was just MIA, but I'm here again, and I'm here to talk more shit about video gaming, right? Um, and no worries, man. This is not turned into a solely gaming podcast. It's just there's been a lot of gaming shit I wanted to get off my chest, so I'm just gonna keep talking about it. So, um, but before I get to video games, I wanted to talk about a new show I've been watching. So, two YouTube channels actually. I'll shout out two YouTube channels. Um, First being Brew Stew. Brew Stew is pretty much just this guy who talks about shit from his childhood, and it's an animated show, quite entertaining. Um, I suggest all of you guys to at least check it out once or twice. It's very good. Um, really reminiscent of a lot of things that I dealt with in my childhood. He does a full episode just talking about yo-yos. He has this mini series on his haunted apartment that he used to live in. Just flat out random shit. So, first show I'm definitely going to shout out is Bruce Stew. But the bigger one that I wanted to get to was Metal Family. Now, Metal Family is now currently in its second season. And again, I won't say small YouTube channel, but it gets a consistent like 1,000,000 to 5,000,000 views on each episode. Oh, sorry. And again, incredible show. It's a show, I want to say it's German, and it's been recently redubbed in English. Incredible show, super entertaining. I stumbled upon it pretty much based on a music video that I watched some time ago, and it had these characters in it. And then, well, after that, it just pretty much turned into his own show. If I'm not mistaken, the animators are the same animators that do Bat Metal, which is another really cool thing when it's pretty much just a music video for a handful of Death Clock songs that is just pretty much redubbed with Batman characters. And really well done. Art form is really incredible. And you can tell they have a passion for music. And in the Metal Family show, it's pretty much just a guy who came from a non-metalish background that grew up into heavily enjoy the rock style of music. Character's name is Glam, because he's a big fan of glam rock. Who meets this really rough around the edges biker chick, and they end up getting together, and now they have kids. So pretty much the whole story of the show just follows them as a full-fledged family. No serious backstory of them getting together that I know of just yet, because I've only made it through most of season 1. Hopefully they dive more into it in season 2, but it just pretty much just follows the two of them and then their 2 kids. No real heavy plot at the moment. They do a lot of Glam's backstory and his coming to age and love of metal music and rock music in general. So Glam is a great character, really well done, fleshed out character. Hopefully they get to the other characters. Again, I'm sure they do. I just haven't gotten that far yet. If I'm not mistaken, they're like maybe midway through season 2, so I got a lot of catching up to do. But I wanted to tell everybody else about it first. Really incredible show. Really, and again, I really want to stress and emphasize the art is done very, very well. It's no cheap, quick art. Or anything like that. It's really well done, really well fleshed out, and the story, the voice acting, all of that is done super well. So I enjoy it a lot, and I would love for you guys to enjoy it as well. So I'll post a link of it or something, or maybe one of the episodes on the Facebook page so you guys can enjoy it as well. Super cool show. Super, super, super cool show. And if you want, check it out. Comment on their on their YouTube channel that F and Bob sent you there. That'd be really cool for me. And I hope to see you guys in the comment section of their episodes, because their episodes are really cool, and they have a really nice fan base too, from what I've seen. no toxic nature or anything like that. So really cool. Hopefully, I really want that channel to blow up. I would love to see more of their character, or their characters and stuff like that. Like I really want that channel to shine. So yeah, 2 YouTube channels I want you guys to check out. Just from the off rip, Bruce New. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned them a couple times before, but Metal Family is something new that I really want to share with you guys. So go check out Metal Family. Metal Family is dope. Probably one of my favorite shows of all time on YouTube. Animated shows on YouTube. And everybody has their personal picks, especially with the telling story-based characters. But Bruce Lee I enjoy a lot just because they're really simple, really fun, very Midwestern style stories, and the animation's super simple, which makes it even funnier to me. It's a guy who knows his way around a computer, knows his way around animation, and just decides to draw stick figures. Sometimes simplicity wins. And then Metal Family just being incredible in general. So check both of them out. Not much more to say about that. I just really love those. What has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to tell you guys to watch those 2 shows. So yeah. So I know this was really early on, but I would like to get rid of one of my commercial breaks right out the gate. Let's get the commercials out the way so we can get right back to the podcast ASAP. So I will catch you guys in a second. Peace. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Nonsense. Hope you guys got some good commercials this time. Hope you buy some stuff. Or don't buy stuff. Don't buy anything. Save your money. It's not necessary to buy all the stuff. Anyway. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is more gaming shit. Because I'm a gamer. Check the hat. Duh. So, there was something that's been kind of on my mind to talk about recently. And that was the rift between certain Sony titles, or PlayStation titles, I should say. And what I mean by riff is just certain companies and certain games getting a lot more love than others. So we all know, and if you're a gamer or not, it's okay. But you'll find this entertaining. Games like Uncharted. Everybody knows Uncharted. Everybody knows games like The Last of Us. These are really big, high-level, big-budget games. God of War, stuff like that too. These are really big budget, high notoriety games. And the reason we really want to harp on like The Last of Us and Uncharted is these are both Naughty Dog games too, for one. And Naughty Dog pretty much doesn't produce anything but those titles. Like they pretty much harp on one title and then they just ride that shit and then they move on to the next thing. Naughty Dog, mind you, starting off with Crash Bandicoot, which a lot of people forget that Naughty Dog was Crash Bandicoot and Naughty Dog were of the same company. They just recently moved over to Activision. But that's where it got started. After Crash Bandicoot, they moved over to one of my favorite series of all time, the Jak and Daxter series. Again, incredible game. And then they moved on to Uncharted and then The Last of Us. And all great games that were pushed heavily, tons of commercials, tons of funding, things of that nature. The games I really want to talk about are games like Ghost of Tsushima and Days Gone. And these are 2 games that are very new, very recent, and got updates for the PS5. But show you the difference in funding and pushing of games that I'm starting to notice the older I get and the more I pay attention to gaming, outside of just the fun and playability of a game. Now, I play both of these games. I think I've mentioned my reviews of these games a couple times over. And you guys pretty much know my thoughts on it. Days Gone is an okay game. It's not bad. It's, I won't even say been done before. It's just a simplistic game, a simplistic concept, and very simplistic characters. Really not heavily pushed. And then games like Ghost of Tsushima, which are hands down some of my favorite one of my favorite games of all time, for the simple fact of the way it works. And it doesn't try anything dramatic. It doesn't push new concepts or anything like that. It's an open world samurai ninja-like game. That's it. It found its niche and it just pushed that niche, told a great story, made a beautiful open world. But the thing is with games like these, both games got no notoriety. I didn't even hear anything about Ghost of Tsushima before I picked it up myself. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 promos for it, maybe I don't even think I've seen an actual commercial for it, just like a quick trailer for it. It looked interesting. I enjoy swords and combat of the nature of myself, and I was like, why not? I'll pick it up, and thoroughly enjoyed it. And realized that there was no push, no backing for it whatsoever, and didn't understand why I got no push and no backing. And then games like Days Gone, Days Gone, right? Yeah, I had to write notes. Days Gone, again, another game with no real push or backing. I think it showed up at E3 once, and then it just kind of fell to the wayside. And again, I'm not saying it's a great game and deserved more notoriety, but I think a little bit of notoriety and a little bit of push would have developed a better game in the long run. And I think because of it having no push and no notoriety and no pushback, it kind of fell to the wayside because nobody was correcting them as they went. And I think that's something that people are lost on nowadays. People are very agitated with the way gaming works nowadays, where there's tons of alpha, tons of pre-alphas, alpha, pre-alpha, betas, before the actual game gets released. And there's a reasoning behind that. And this is just me diving deeper into gaming and gaming culture in general. The reason why this happens is because developers don't want to get complacent. The gaming community has grown dramatically over years, where we all know what we like, we know what we don't like, and don't mind giving input to save a game from going into obscurity. Case in point, Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare went through maybe 3 or 4 alphas and pre-alphas and betas before it released. And the amount of feedback given to Modern Warfare is what created the Modern Warfare that we knew and enjoyed. We all were hyped for it, we all knew what it needed, and we were all adamant about telling them what they needed ahead of time. And they delivered almost every step of the way. Days Gone could have used that because, again, the premise was simple. It was pretty much a zombie apocalypse game where you are rolling around as a guy from an old biker gang, an ex-military. The problem with that game was that it wasn't developed thoroughly. Now, what I mean by that is the game itself wasn't broken, but it was dull. It was very dull. The characters were kind of dull. The world was kind of dull. And the story pacing was kind of dull. It was a very basic story. It's an apocalypse. I want to find my wife. I found my wife. Now I want to live free with my wife. And I don't want to be boggled down with these camps or communities or anything like that. He just wanted to do his own thing, which is great. Understandable. Great premise. The thing is you didn't develop the character long enough. What we needed was the character to kind of realize that his wife was gone and give up on the search for his wife. But the story progressed so quickly where by the time he gave up, he found her again. So that loss wasn't there. And he never really gave up hope. He never lost hope. He had hope all the way up until the point where he pretty much found her. And I think a great story element would have been the maybe harsh realization that his wife might have been dead. Or the harsh realization of she ain't coming back, or I might not find her. Maybe I should develop a life of my own. Something like that. You know what I mean? So the story can have been fleshed out. They didn't really touch on him being ex-military almost at all. And when they did, it was very brief. And I think that would have been a nice thing. That kind of would show why his character is the way he is, or why he's combat adept the way he is, Not everybody shows up in a zombie apocalypse and is pretty much just ready to roll like Dinkin was. And maybe harping on his military background would have made more sense. Or maybe do some flashbacks to his, military background. Or maybe make it playable. Make some of his military background playable. Anything of that nature, just to break up the pacing of the game, would have been great. I think the world was a little dry as well. Just because there was not a lot to do. And because you're kind of focused on, traversing around on a motorcycle, you kind of had no choice but to, take the roads. So you're taking the same roads between the same areas consistently. And a lot of what could have been added to the world is just little things, a little off the beaten path every once in a while, just to spark some interest. Maybe seeing something in the distance or seeing a person in danger or something like that, where you had to just, traverse outside or out the way just a little more than they forced you to. And again, it's not like they didn't have these elements there. They were there. They were just few and far between. The biggest thing they needed was to harp on the horde system. Now, I've played a plethora of zombie games 6 times over, I've played Resident Evils and Left 4 Deads and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And what was really impressive was the horde system. Their zombie horde system literally left you powerless in some cases if you weren't 100% ready to go. And what I mean is, there's not just like, 30, 40 zombies or whatever they called them in that one moment. There were hundreds, and they were speedy zombies. So these zombies were hauling ass chasing you down. Now, granted, you could, to a certain degree, outrun them, but there would be shit in your way that would cause you to, have to adjust how you maneuver, run, or crawl under things and things of that nature. And then you always had your trusty motorcycle available to you to get out of Dodge if you needed to. What they were missing was just utilizing it more often. And it didn't have to be all the time, because the more you use it, obviously, the less you're, afraid of it. But they should have just had it where they were maybe on roads more often, or roads that you traveled more often. So that way maybe it would alter how you traverse the area, pushing you off the beaten path a little more, forcing you to find more hidden secret areas, or just alternate paths in general. Those hordes should have been used to just maneuver how you would normally maneuver. That would have been a great way to utilize it. They just didn't place the hordes in the right place at all times. So those are like my main gripes, though. And I would say, as many as they are, they really didn't change how I felt about the game. The things that really the last thing that really bugged me was just the voice acting. Some of the voice actors could have either been replaced or just understood their roles a little better, because I didn't believe them sometimes. Deacon St. John, which was the main character, was voiced by, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and I'm not going to look him up, but he was voiced by the same character who played Dexter's brother in the serial killer Dexter's movie. And for the gamers, he was also the same character who played Knight, the Apprentice, or Star Killer in The Force Unleashed. Another great game, by the way. So those were pretty much, those two characters are the same character who plays Deacon St. John, the main character in Days Gone. And just sometimes his voice acting just became a little unbearable. So not a big gripe, but it was just my gripe. Like, hearing him talk sometimes was just like, dude, I need you to chill the fuck out and shut the hell up. But other than that, that was pretty much it. Things that the game did well. Traversing around on a motorcycle was not done in any other open world game I think I've ever played, where it's solely just motorcycle. And having one vehicle to yourself. I know games like Grand Theft Auto tried to maneuver where you had like your main vehicle. But in all honesty, it's Grand Theft Auto. You're still in another car either way. Days Gone really made you get used to using your vehicle. I would have liked more customization, more changes to it, but it was fine. I like what they added to it. It was simple. It wasn't a pain in the ass to upgrade the motorcycle. You got what you needed, and it was fine. The small element of running out of fuel probably annoyed most people, but I thought was a nice change of pace. Cars need fuel. Cars need to be repaired. Cars break and are damaged at times, and they force you to take care of all of it. If you want to jump off of a fucking cliff on your motorcycle, by all means, but slower, you're going to damage your vehicle. It's not going to drive as fast. It's not going to steer as clean, and eventually we'll just crap the fuck out. And I did enjoy that on occasions. Definitely there was times where it pissed me off because, in a bad situation, my bike crapped out on me. It sucked, but that's the name of the game, Fueling up was never an issue. It was annoying in the beginning because you got a smaller fuel tank, but through upgrades and things of that nature, you didn't have to fuel up as often, but you still had to. And again, fuel was never hard to find, but it was always slightly inconvenient. So it was fine. I didn't mind it. I thought it was a nice change of pace of the game. It typically got you to slow down so you weren't just burning past all of the areas consistently. Another thing I liked, the ambush system. Every once in a while, the humans would ambush you and try and rob you and kill you. Another nice element. It kind of, broke up the monotonous of it. I wish it happened maybe, I don't know if everybody had the same issue, but I wish it happened a little more often to me. It might have annoyed other people, but just that break of pace, just if you're in any game where it's open world and you're just driving, it gets old after a bit and you kind of zone out. So having something that you had to consistently be paying attention to just in case it might happen, I might get jumped, I don't know what's going on, it kept you on your toes. So a mix of something like that and then more zombie hordes would have definitely kept you on your toes consistently while you're rolling around the environment. and that makes the environment a little more lively. But again, a great concept. I did enjoy the concept. I did enjoy the fact that they made the areas more lived in. So, granted, it was a small town in the hills of the middle of fucking nowhere, but you definitely felt like this area was lived in to a certain degree. It wasn't just some open area, it wasn't some cityscape. It was a small town that was definitely lived in. You can go into people's houses. It all looked like it was rushed, left out of. Everything was kind of in shambles. It was really nicely done. It was just, again, it was just few and far in between, and they didn't force you to go in, scavenge as much as I felt like you should have. That's some of the things that I wish they would have just, kind of forced you to do more often. But again, not bad pacing. Really, it was that those things weren't really bad pacing. I say all these things to just bring up a solid point, though, is the game Days Gone wasn't bad, but with an alpha, pre-alpha, or beta, getting this game out to other gamers and having them correct this game ahead of time and maybe get a little more backing or pushing would have made this game a much better game than what it was. So it could have kept up with the likes of the God of Wars and things of that nature. And mind you, Days Gone is a PlayStation Studios game. So this is not some third-party game. This is a high priority or high property game or high value game. In the sense of how it was worked on and what studio was working on it. So there was no excuse for it to be as low level as it was. And I think that was it was a zombie game, so they just assumed that everybody's going to be fine with a zombie game. And again, you have to change it up a little bit. You have to make sure the game is going in the right direction. Now, and this is done without backing and push. And again, it's not that it always needs it. Not every game needs it. And that's the reason why I brought up Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima had almost no backing, or probably, I would say, less backing or less funding, or less push, I guess you could say, compared to Days Gone. Days Gone got a little bit, but I heard nothing of Days Gone, and Days Gone was in contenders to be Game of the Year. So yes, it can be done, but it was also done by a company that I trust and respect, Sucker Punch Studios, who makes the infamous games. So I knew what I was kind of getting out of it before I got it. I knew it was going to be an open world game. I knew there was going to be a lot of traversing and a lot of collecting of items and a lot of, let's go find this, let's go check this out type thing. You know what I mean? So I knew that was going to be some of what the game gave me. But the game was really well done and fleshed out. And a lot of people were well received behind it, and I think it deserved Game of the Year 100%. Well over The Last of Us. And the reason why I bring these two games up against games like Last of Us and Uncharted is because these games have cult following without sometimes putting all of the effort that's necessary into it. These games are just known to be top tier, top A-list games. So there's like, you're going to buy it based on the name alone. Now, granted, I can understand why people love Uncharted. I particularly don't like it because it's Tomb Raider to me. It's a movie-based Tomb Raider. Which they are going to make a movie-based version of Uncharted, I'm going to see no difference between that and a video game, except that it's interactive. It's an interactive movie to a certain degree. The gameplay is very basic. The traversing is very basic. The story premises are very basic. There's nothing flashy about any of these games. It's just tried and true, and it was backed a lot. And again, to all my gamers, you guys seen hundreds, thousands of commercials over and over and over again for Uncharted. You've seen tons of pushing and backing for the Last of Us series. These games are pushed heavily, and sometimes I feel like they're diminished in the sense of no one's backing the game itself. The game itself suffers because it's promoted. So Uncharted is very simplistic and could have been a much bigger and better game if it wasn't just funded and pushed just because it's Uncharted. Same thing with The Last of Us. I think The Last of Us got very lazy because it didn't care about what the fans wanted. It did what it wanted to do and was like, you're going to buy it because it's The Last of Us. You love the first one. We're going to give you just enough of the first one, and you're going to buy this one, and we're going to get our money's worth. And again, this goes across the board for almost anything. It doesn't have to be gaming. I think all forms of media suffer because of attitudes like this. You buy brands that you trust. You buy brands that you know, and sometimes you don't get your money's worth. Same thing with movies. You know, I was a big fan of certain movies, but I feel like some movies are easily, cheaply done because of the naming. Hence, your Marvel movies and stuff like that. And I'm not saying Marvel movies are bad, but If they rushed out a Marvel movie out of nowhere, people will still go see it because it's a Marvel movie, and they will, never say that the movie was not good or entertaining because, well, it's part of the MCU. It might be a bad MCU movie, but in the whole, the MCU is good. And I think that's a bad way to look at something, So I just thought I'd just give my 2 cents on stuff like that. I don't like some games getting no notoriety. I don't like certain games getting too much notoriety. I think there needs to be a happy median amongst all of these things, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, I just want to make sure people understand. I do enjoy Days Gone. I've definitely shit on Days Gone, time and time and again because of how simplistic it is and how much better it could have been. But I think that's what it really was Days Gone could have been better. I expected it to be better. I wanted it to be better. But after a while, it just kind of dragged ass. And it dragged on for a little too long. It didn't need to be as long as it was and to be as basic as it was. If you're going to be a long game, you have to find new ways to be entertaining. I know there was a lot of talk about making a Days Gone 2, which I'm pretty sure is going to fall to the wayside now because most of the creators and people that were working on the game have all split up and moved to other developing companies. But I would still like to give it another chance. I think it needs one more chance, one more solid push. We see what it can do. I think people have given solid criticism on what it should have been and what it isn't. And hopefully it gets another one. We all know that Ghost of Tsushima is going to get another game because it deserves it. It definitely deserves it. And there's a lot of history that can be still followed with this game. So more power to them. I hope we get a lot more Ghost of Tsushima. At least one more game for damn sure. So I'm hoping, I'm pushing for it. So on that note, let's take another, minor commercial break and then we'll come back and talk about something else. Anything else, right? I know you guys are getting sick of gaming, but I'm not. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit and I will see you soon. All right. Welcome back to Nonsense. I'm still here. I'm still your host. So let's continue on. What do we have left? Fan submitted topic that I would love to talk about. And I guess it came from TikTok. Apparently, he showed me a TikTok he sent me a TikTok that I guess I should have reacted to on TikTok, but whatever. And the TikTok goes as such. What is a gaming problem for black people? Or for melanin-based Americans? I don't know what you would call black people anymore. But what's a gaming problem for the black Americans? And one of the TikTokers I found hilariously, she complained about hairstyles for black characters. So you create your own character. You're able to make them darker skin and things of that nature. But once it gets to hairstyles, all the hairstyles are either unusable or, not black hairstyles. Your afros, your nappy hair, cornrows, dreads, braids, things of that nature. You don't get many options. And here's my thought process on it. Just the reaction to her. That lady alone, and hopefully I have time to do it on TikTok. I would love to just duet her on TikTok. She had straight hair, for one, which is not a black hairstyle, I don't think. I don't really care. What is a black hairstyle? It's fucking hair. But she, talks about, your micro braids, your dreads, your box braids, your cornrows, all of this other stuff. And she's sitting here with straightened hair like any other person in the world would have. So I don't think they were missing you specifically. I'm sure you would like to have braids and dreads in your video game, but I just found it funny. But to side with her a bit, yes, I definitely can see certain games. It's definitely difficult to pick a hairstyle of your own. The thing is with me is I could care less half of the time, to be honest. I don't mind just getting, random spiky hair. I don't mind getting long hair. I don't mind getting hair that I would never be able to get because my hair is a fucking mess. But it means nothing to me. I think the whole point of create a character is not to create yourself specifically in game. It's just to create an avatar of yourself, a character that you would like to be of yourself. You know what I mean? And if my character has long spiky hair, then so fucking be it. Who cares? It's fucking hair, dude. Like, that's not gonna break my fun of the game by a long shot. What's gonna break my fun is the game not being good. I could care less if the game allows me to design my character the exact way I want them to be. It's no big deal. They give you a lot of options. They give you a shit ton of options in most games. And funnily enough, I typically struggle making characters in games that have black hair because not that I have too many options. It's just It's always so close, but never exactly, the hair I want. It's always just some generic base hair. And I'm just like, I don't like any of these, And it looks really stupid. So, I mean, it is what it is, though. For me, though, let's take a good thought process of it. As a black person playing games, what I can't stand in video gaming. Shit, that's a pretty tough question. I'm going to say not whitewashed black characters, but blackwashed. I guess you could say blackwashed white characters. That's kind of weird. And what I mean by blackwashed characters is, and not even wiggers, but just like characters that are just like, that dude is almost completely a black character, and they just didn't make him a black character. Not that I want more black characters in games. I could care less. But if you design a character and make him damn near black, why not just make him a black character? You know what I mean? It seems really weird. Like I'm playing this basketball game, this mobile basketball game, that has a character that you could tell has the swagger of a black dude, but they just didn't make him black. I mean, they gave the dude fucking dreads, and I'm just like, dude, just make him a black character. Like, who cares? You gave him sideways caps, long shorts, basketball jersey. Like the full swag of a black dude. And then just like, we'll slap, a high top fade on him and make him look like Vanilla Ice. I'm like, that's kind of weird. And a basketball game nonetheless. And I'm just like, dude, just make him the black guy. Like, it's no big damn deal. I just thought it was weird. So yeah, I think blackwashed characters, like blackwashed white guys or wiggers, whatever you want to call them, just like those characters are kind of weird to me. And those are very few and far between. But it happens a lot. It's definitely in sporting games. I would also like to say the unnecessary inclusion of black characters is a problem for me. And again, it's not a problem. I don't think it's an issue. I don't really care. But I just don't like when they're like force feeding black characters or a black best friend, or like none of that's necessary. And it doesn't happen often in gaming, but I'm seeing it a lot more in movies. And I seen this TikToker recently who had a minor complaint about it, that every redhead character that was just a white redhead, Irish looking person was replaced by a black character at some point. And it's kind of weird. Like Starfire in the new Teen Titans show is all of a sudden a black character. I have no idea why Starfire is black. Starfire is a goddamn orange alien. Why make her black? Or what was the other character that I can't think of off the top of my head? It was Starfire. Oh shit, and it was another redhead too. I can't think of the other person, but I remember Johnny Blaze from the Fantastic Four. They just replaced with Michael B. Jordan out of nowhere. Very strange. And again, I love Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a great actor, and I think he's probably the greatest black actor we have of this day and age. And it's pretty much not going to get too much better than him right now. But why Johnny Blaze? Johnny Blaze is a white dude. Make him a black. There were black heroes. And for the love of God, I'm so sick of people saying, well, we need representation in heroes. We have black superheroes. There's tons of black superheroes. We need to just enjoy the ones we have, or create more. Stop waiting for somebody else to make something for you. Just make it. Just make it. And again, I've yelled about this 1,000 times over, and I'm gonna pull this up again. Black superhero characters. We'll just do that for ourselves right now. Superheroes that exists. Should I don't feel like I need to, just blatantly put that out there. And there's characters that we're just underutilizing heavily. Now everybody knows, fucking Falcon because of the whole Iron Man crossover now. Who's again not a bad character. And T'Challa or Black Panther. But there's other characters that we're missing out on that I'm like, I think we need to give a little more leadway or props into. So you have characters like, who I feel like is underused profusely, heavily, is Spawn. Spawn needs a resurgence. Spawn was one of the greatest heroes I've ever seen in my goddamn life. I don't even know if you call him a hero or not, but he's a goddamn superhero to me. And he's just a straight demonic character who uses guns and weird weapons, and also has, demon powers and shit like that. Movie was great. That was the movie that was played as Michael J. White as Spawn. Really good movie. The animated series, the McFarlane series, really great series. Super dark, super grungy, super entertaining. The comic books I've dabbled into at some point, really good comic books. Spawn needs a resurgence. Stop. I don't care about Black Panther. Black Panther sucks to me. Let's get Spawn back out there. I want to see more Spawn shit. I want a new Spawn movie. I still wouldn't mind Michael J. White playing. Is it Michael J. or Michael J? I don't know. Michael J. White can still play Spawn for all I care. Spawn was the shit. Spawn is hands down one of the greater games that I played on the Dreamcast. One of the greatest superheroes I've ever played with. Every time he shows up in other media, whether it be Soul Calibur, he was dope in Soul Calibur. They just put him in Mortal Kombat 11 some time ago. Great character in Mortal Kombat. Like, let's get more Spawn. I need more Spawn. You want more black superheroes? Let's use the ones we fucking got. Shit. Got me all heated over a fucking superhero, man. We have Spawn. Let's fucking use Spawn. Spawn's awesome. Spawn's incredible. Take some time to look into Spawn. Who else we got? Let's see. Batwing. I actually knew of Batwing. Another spin-off character of the Batman series. Super cool character. Fairly new, but let's use him. Let's start adding that. Green Lantern was a flop. Because Ryan Reynolds sucks. Let's do Jon Stewart's Green Lantern. Jon Stewart's Green Lantern was actually kind of fucking cool. His Green Lantern was actually awesome. Let's use that character. That Green Lantern was cool. Whatever the fuck Ryan Reynolds did was garbage. So yeah, let's do fucking Green Lantern again. Let's give Green Lantern a second chance. Because Green Lantern is also not a bad character. He just was done by a shitty actor. I hate Ryan Reynolds with a passion. I really hope Ryan Reynolds gets lice. Everybody knows about Miles Morales now. I still consider him a Puerto Rican hero. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know he's half black, half Puerto Rican. But let's give the Puerto Ricans one, man. The Puerto Ricans only have 2 characters at this point. If you give them Miles Morales, it's fine. But at the end of the day, everybody and their mom can be Spider-Man. So he's black, he's Puerto Rican, he's fucking everybody. You know, he's a man, he's a woman, he's a girl, he's a fucking pig. Spider-Man's the shit. So we have Miles Morales. We have his own game. He has his own game. He has 2 movies now. We've done enough with Spideyverse. Who else we got? Marvel Comics. Let's check this one out. Misty Knight. I've never heard of Misty Knight. Misty Knight is a kung fu bionic, an armed courtesan of Tony Stark. Oh shit, never heard of that. Known for dating Iron Fist. What the fuck? All right, so yeah, let's throw her in a few things. Let's pass the child up. Everybody knows Storm. I'm fine with Storm. I think she's the worst X-Men, but definitely useful. She's really cool. I'm not against her at all. I don't think she's bad. It's just not one of my favorites. All right, let's move down the list a little further. Nick Fury, which I think they've done enough with Nick Fury. Yeah, because he's Samuel L. Jackson with the Shield. I think he's got his own spin-off show at one point. So yeah, Nick Fury is all good. I think we don't need to push Nick Fury anymore. Yeah. Bishop. I did love Bishop from the X-Men series. So Bishop was really cool. I think they should give Bishop a little bit more screen time. And I think they're going to... I don't think they will, but I know fucking they're going to probably do more X-Men shit in the long run. So there's only a matter of time. Static Shock for the rest of you guys. I'm waiting on my fucking movie. Bring back the TV show. Static Shock was the shit. We act like we don't have Static Shock. Static Shock was fucking extremely awesome. Probably one of the best cartoons on Saturday morning cartoons. War Machine had only got one bit in the Iron Man series. I don't know why they won't push him at all. Luke Cage, aka Power. I'm not a fan of him, but he's pretty cool. Here's one that pisses me off that we're not pushing at all. And I think a lot of people didn't even realize this is as awesome as he is. John Henry fucking Irons, aka Steel. Now, a lot of people know Steel from the shitty ass fucking movie that was made with Shaq in mind. Now, Shaq, I think, did a good job playing a hero character, but I think it just wasn't fleshed out as well as it should have been. And they could have done better with it, but it was, I think it was an early 90s movie. I think Shaq was still playing for the Magic at that point. He hadn't even made it to the Laker Nation yet. But people watched that movie and had no idea that was, for one, a DC superhero. They thought it was just some random shit that they made for Shaq. No, that's a DC character. And they just never really, they just didn't put it out there as well as they could have. It could have been done. It could have been done better. I feel like they should do it again, give him a second chance. Again, this is a DC character that they could use that's really awesome. Cyborg. Cyborg is another great character that I feel like we're underutilizing and they won't utilize properly. And the reason I would like to bring up Cyborg was in the Justice League movie. And the reason why he probably didn't get hit as much spinoff in time as he did is because the actor and the director, I think, got into it at one point because they tried to change Cyborg's backstory. Cyborg has two parents who are both geniuses and very intelligent. And if I'm not mistaken, they typically go with the backstory of Cyborg's, when he was just a human, was just a really great football player, got into an accident, his body was kind of mangled up and he was dying. And his intelligent parents remade him into a cyborg so he could live and have as much of a normal life as he possibly could. That's the backstory of Cyborg in a nutshell. A quick backstory in a nutshell. Really good character. I think could be really well done and fleshed out if they gave him a chance. And let's be honest, because of Teen Titans, there is no human that looks at Teen Titans and doesn't love Cyborg. Cyborg's always consistently our favorite Teen Titan. We might like Robin. We all love us some Beast Boy, but we all love Cyborg 100%. We need to give Cyborg his own show or his own movie, and then let's spin it off so we can see him and Beast Boy meet up and become best friends. And then the creation of the Teen Titans. I want more Cyborg. I would love more of the Teen Titans anyway, because the new Teen Titans show they got is kind of shitty. I love the original Teen Titans that came on Cartoon Network, the animated series. They did every character super well. And I just think Cyborg can get a little more time. And then last but not least is and mind you, I'm just going off of this list, is Blade. Now let's all take a quick pause and realize that Blade saved Marvel. Marvel was making no money when it came to movies whatsoever. Marvel was a comic book company, no movies at all, to my knowledge. Let's take a look. When was Blade released as a movie? Blade movie was 1998. I can't even think of a Marvel movie that came out before then. Blade, to my knowledge, saved Marvel in general. There was never a movie before that. If I'm not mistaken, they were going bankrupt at that point. And then they shipped out Blade, and Blade pretty much saved everything. Wesley Snipes' black ass saved Marvel. So let's give some more shine to Blade being hands down one of the greater fucking movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for one. And two, being just a great movie and great character for all black people to enjoy. So let's not act like there's no fucking dope-ass superheroes. We just don't watch and enjoy. I never hear anybody talk about Blade at all. Like, Blade, hands down, is one of the, I'm just bypassing him as a fucking character. Like, come on, man. Let's be real fucking... Let's be honest about some of this shit, dude. Like, there's no reason to not like Blade. Let's see if we can find some other good characters. Comic books. Amazing Man. I've never heard of Amazing Man. Batwing. Batman. I think Batman was black at one point. Black Vulcan, I remember. Yeah, there's a ton of fucking heroes, dude. Like, I don't know all of these heroes because Freight Train. Is Freight Train a really... I thought that was just a bit from fucking Rick and Morty. Oh, that's fucking funny. So there is a train-based fucking superhero. I gotta look into that. I actually might need to look into that at some point. Muhammad X sounds terrible. New Moon, which probably goes along with that White Moon character that's getting a fucking movie himself. Out of all characters that's getting another movie, he's getting another movie. Fuck out of here, dude. Starboy, Steel, Static, we already talked about. There's just shit ton of... This is literally a full list of fucking characters. Then there's like, yeah, we could probably make something out of any of these characters. Any of these characters. And they just won't. And we're sitting here bitching that we don't have any representation when it comes to heroes. There's tons. Bulletproof. I remember that. Black Samson I remember as well. Damn, dude, I'm starting to remember fucking characters. Holy shit. So yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty, and I want you guys to see this too, because this is just a wiki page. Let's see if I can pull that up for you guys real quick. For those who are watching on video, bam. Look at this. This is a full list of every black superhero character. And all of your favorite superhero characters are in here. Like, there's Captain Marvel. Ain't that a bitch? You got a Captain Marvel too. He was apparently that person was black. Crimson Avenger. That character looks fucking awesome. And that should definitely just, take care of both of yours, Empress. That one looks cool. Freedom Beast. Jesus Christ. Hawk Girl. Was rewritten as a black character? I did not know that. Alright. I mean, to each his own. Joshua Powers. Like, Jesus Christ. What is this one? Kid Impala. Of course it would be Kid Impala. Maximum. That one looks pretty interesting. Either way, there's tons of characters. There's no excuse to sit here and say that there's no black characters for us to enjoy. So let's stop, blackwashing white characters, and let's not whitewash black characters. Let's do it on both ends, man. We have plenty of characters for both of us to enjoy. So that's my gripe with just character-based things in general. I know I got way off topic because I was supposed to be a video gaming rant. But I know it doesn't happen as much as in video games, but it definitely happens in media a lot, where they're just injecting black characters where they don't need to be. And again, as we just looked at this list, there's tons of black characters that we could be using that we just refuse. I am just going to go out on a note. If that Static movie doesn't come out soon, if I'm not mistaken, Michael B. Jordan is heading this project. I expect this Static Shock movie to be incredible. Static Shock was a great cartoon, and if you fuck it up, I'm going to be extremely pissed. Let's bring back Steel. Let's bring back Static Shock. Let's bring back Spawn. And let's bring back Blade. We have heavy hitter characters that we refuse to use. Let's make this shit work again. Let's stop bitching about what we don't have and let's use what we already have. You guys did very well with Black Panther. You pushed Black Panther to a very high level. You made it a cultural thing. Let's push some shit that I actually care about. Let's push Static. Let's push Blade. Let's push Steel. Steel was awesome. For you guys who haven't seen it, just go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime. I already looked it up. Steel is on Amazon Prime. You can rent the movie for fucking $2. Go watch Steel right now. Shaq was the main character. It was a pretty decent movie. It was made in the early 90s or late 90s. I don't remember exactly when. I was a child when it came out. But it was a pretty cool movie. Pretty cool superhero. Let's push the shit we already have, man. Even if you don't like that one, let's push for that Steel to be remade. I want more Steel. I think Steel could be an incredible movie or incredible series. And if I'm not mistaken, he was counterpart to Superman. So everybody bitches about Superman being white, and we need another Superman character. And if I'm not mistaken, the new Superboy is black too, ain't he? And isn't like the Young Justice, like that motherfucker, the fucking Aqua kid is black. There's a black Superman character. Stop revamping other shit is what I'm saying. Because they're making fucking all these other characters gay and weird now. And I don't mean because they're gay, they're weird. I mean in the sense of, let's stop morphing characters that already exist into something else. Make your own shit. Go make your own goddamn gay-ass superhero. Let's not take white characters and make them black. We have I just showed you a full fucking list of black superheroes. Let's take one of them and make them cooler again. Or make them cool at all again. Let's do something with what we got. We got a bunch of shit. And if you don't like it, go make your own shit. From scratch. On that note, I will be ending this podcast. So, as always with the pleasantries, make sure you take a look in the description below. If you're on YouTube, it's right below you. If you're on Spotify, there's a description for every episode. There is a link tree there. If you're not watching where you prefer to watch, I am on everything else. Spotify, Amazon Music, or not Amazon, I mean Apple Music, Google Podcasts, YouTube, everything. There's tons of places for you to listen. There's no excuse for you not to be comfortable listening. I'm not going to force you to listen how you don't want to listen. I do appreciate you listening, so be as comfortable and listen where it's most convenient. If you're all listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button, like, and comment. I do respond to comments as much as I humanly possibly can. And give me ideas for new episodes, comment whatever. Send me emails. There's an email below. Send me emails if you just like shit, if you want me to talk about something, if you just have content you want me to show me, and things of that nature. So all the things are below. And then don't forget, the Teespring is still available, so go on there, shop, and get you some merch. You have the water cup that I always keep with me up top. It's right here. Yeah, too late you get to quit, too stupid not to do it. In cup form and in shirt form, that's not up here because I actually wear my merchandise. So definitely check those out. Get one of the Danny Says shirts because Danny is awesome. Danny's a co-worker of mine and helps me with the podcast on occasions. So he always gives me new shit to talk about. So thanks to Danny as well. Shout out to all the people who have been continuously listening over the years, or year or so. Years. I'm just gonna say years. Thanks to everyone who are listening. Share with your friends and family. Keep interacting with me. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok as well. I try and post content on TikTok and everything else as well. And Facebook is most important because that's the way I can show you shit that I can't show you during the podcast, and references and everything typically on Facebook. So, on that note, thank you everyone, and I will see you next time.